it's worth mentioning that there's some stars in this. So it's, in terms of end credits, Copilot came up a lot. And Copilot came up as Copilot Studio. You'd also maybe be familiar with going to office.com and getting a Copilot prompt screen sitting in front of you. So Copilot Studio with the more involved, orchestrated, connected feel. Copilot through the office.com link to give you the ad hoc questions, the sort of chat, question and answer structure. And also Copilot built into tools. That would typically be my go-to option, Copilot built onto the tool that I'm using, that I'm wanting to do something with. There's just something far more intuitive about that because it's built around the product that you're already comfortable with, Excel, Word, Outlook, and so on. SharePoint. SharePoint is it's always with us, isn't it? It's incredibly complex product. Maybe we could call it an environment because there's so much to it. That's an important repository of data, store of data. So it could also be used as a way of expressing the agent and the solution that we've come up with. We can embed apps within that. Azure Foundry, some of the more high-end smarts in some of these solutions, but the detail, like with Babelfish, the text to speech, speech to text, translate. Foundry may well be the place that we access Azure OpenAI models as well. So from that perspective, we want to be aware of it. I'm just realizing, looking at this list, there's no order to this at all. What was I thinking? Azure AI Search, that gives us the backbone to some of the work that language tools will use. So organizing and crawling through content to make it searchable, to make it useful, to help us bring it to life. So Azure AI Search would be an important component. Outlook, for similar reasons to SharePoint and Excel and Teams, that it has Copilot built into it, can be used as part of an orchestrated flow, and it certainly came up in at least one of my solutions. Power BI was just in one solution, but not part of the 10, maybe kind of part of the 10. When I have the DAX expression on the screen, if I'm using Power BI, I can click on Copilot and just say, I need some DAX to turn this into that, turn this data set into this set of numbers that I need to use for this visual. Make this data set compatible with this visual. I can use Copilot built into Power BI to do that. Power Automate, the sort of unsung hero or shiro of many of these solutions, sitting there holding it all together. Microsoft Excel as a source of data, as a very consistent source of data, and Microsoft Teams as an interface. I don't need to set up individual applications on somebody's desktop that for each type of activity they're doing, they open a different application. Go to Teams and have those apps built into different Teams channels and make them more appropriate, have them more directed and frankly easier to find. What next? Well, we're almost done in terms of the presentation, but what next for you would be maybe ignore everything I've just said, ignore the ideas that I've just sort of described to you, because they're my ideas, they're just things I thought up. It's up to you to think up your ideas. What do you need? What gap is there in your process? What predictable set of steps do you go through that you think, I think a machine could do this. I don't need to do this. I could be doing something else that involves me using my brain and actually thinking about an idea. So where could you use this? And ultimately, if you can think of it, you can probably build it. Now, I'm sure I'm butchering someone else's quote in saying that, But if you can think up the idea, I am sure Microsoft AI components can help you with it. Think back to the e-discovery. Okay. That's an otherwise mundane, boring, spirit-crushing sort of task, just looking through lots of documents to find something. So that could be sort of transformative in its own way. But keep in mind, you can build on these. So each of these solutions are shown at quite a high level. Even with the expert, you'd be putting in example prompts, you'd be fine-tuning any kind of model that might be used, you might be wanting to scale it out in different ways. So there's lots more that could be done with these. But ultimately, what you've got to do is think about where you work, what you need, what your interests are, where the gaps are, and where you think AI can make a difference, because it probably can. That's it for me. Thank you for your time, and thanks for tuning into this webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. Bye for now.